Hello.
Hi.
Hey Vinayak, how are you?
Hi. Yeah, I'm fine.
Good, good, good. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Thank you for the appointment.
Not a problem, not a problem. So Vinayak, let's go through your queries and why didn't you start with about telling about yourself so that I understand your situation a little better?
Yeah. So I'm in last year of my masters
Mm-hmm.
at IIT Bombay,
Okay,
and my project is in thermal management of electric vehicles and lithium-ion batteries.
got it.
So I've taken a job now, and I'm like thinking about doing a job for 1 year, and then after that I'm thinking of applying for PhD in Europe mostly, or USA is also in options.
Okay.
So
Do you mind
yeah,
telling me where you're working right now? Where is your job?
in Eton, in Pune.
Okay, Eaton. Okay, okay. But that's a alloy company, right?
No, it is electrical thermal management of electric vehicles.
No, no, no. The company Eaton, I mean.
Yeah, Eton is also in that domain also,
Oh, in
like
that domain also.
electrical.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Okay, so what I will do, I will go through your questions. Just want to ask you one thing. Are you married, have kids, or you are on your own?
No, single on your own,
Okay,
on
good.
my own.
Okay, good. That's make your life much simpler then. Okay, let me go through your queries. So I would say the topic you have selected right now, I think it's as you know, it's a pretty good topic. And I think if you are interested in research, I don't know what your ambitions are. You want to go in academic or you still want to work in an industry. In both ways, I think this topic is very good.
Yeah, means I was like gaining some experience through PhD, and after that having some industry experience or academics, means depending upon the opportunities
Okay.
after PhD.
Right,
And
right, right. But I would say
yeah,
I don't know much about Europe, the situation, because I have most of my studies in US. But I would say either case, whether you go to US or Europe, I think this topic is pretty good. I mean, I would say even if you go to Japan or South Korea, for example, this topic is very relevant. The only thing I tell people is if you go to Europe or Asian countries, the issue that comes up is with the culture because it's a very homogeneous culture, just like India. US is very multicultural. People don't feel left out, and it's a very important part of the system, part of the thing because you're going to spend a lot of time here. In Europe, I have students who have called me from Germany also, and one thing I have heard from them is language is a big problem.
yeah, Germany,
Yeah.
that's the issue.
Not only Germany, I mean, I would say except two countries, which is UK and US, and in fact Canada also. Other than that, you will have that problem because all these countries
Okay.
have a lot of immigrants coming in. So you know the culture is very diverse. So you don't feel. I mean, Indians never feel left out anywhere because there are so many of them anyway. But still, there is an still you will find that an issue. Okay, so and as I said, opportunity wise and the topic of thermal management of electric vehicles, I think it's a very, very good topic. You will find a lot of good universities and good professors in US and in UK, in Europe or in Asian countries. So that will not be a problem at all. Okay.
Mhm.
About the application process, I can tell you just about only US, and you can find this information in internet also. But I would say in US, the way the PhD especially, I think the way it works is you can always talk to professor directly. He will have
Oh,
he will have more authority in deciding your application. As far as you have passed the cutoff, let's say if you have a good score in your GRE, if you have everything, which is the minimum requirement by the university, the professor is very much free to take a decision. And the money
Okay.
comes from the professor in US. So money is always be coming from the professor. So he will be the person who will say, okay, I want to fund your education or not. And PhD in US are funded, so you don't have to pay from your pocket for your housing and everything. So they pay you around, I think, $1,500 to $2,000 nowadays, and that covers your living and food expenses, and even you can have a car also. And I would say your tuition is paid, so that part is fine. As far as your third point is concerned, which should be the focus point, university ranking, professor reputation, or guidance from professor? Here I see it. If you get into MIT, let's say, or Stanford, or the universities of that reputation, always choose university. Okay, but if you go to other universities, let's say you go to University of Florida, or if you have to choose between University of Florida and University of Maryland or Penn State, I would say look for professor first.
Okay.
Do you understand my point?
May- Yeah, for the A top class universities, go for universities.
Yes.
But beyond that, go for professors.
Yeah,
That's what you're
yeah.
saying, right?
Go for professors. Even I would say that in many times what happens, and if you have seen this year Nobel Prize was given for electric vehicles, right? So you can see some of the
Yeah.
professors. I think the one professor from Brigham Young University, which is nobody knows it. But so my point here is, professor in US are not randomly distributed like in India. So in India, ISCs have good professors and NITs won't, right? But in US, this is not true. The good
Okay.
professors you can find everywhere.
Mhm.
It's not at all true that MIT will have a good professor. Not. That will not be true. So that the I would say the university ranking is important, but I would keep professor actually a little bit top of it. So if you get into
Okay.
a good group, a good professor, it's very, very, very important. So let's say, for example, you go to a university, let's say University of Tennessee, and there is a professor there who is well respected, very well known in this area, and he has a big group. He has a good alumni. That's very, very important, because I always tell people, make sure you choose the right professor, because that becomes your family forever. And people don't realize that, but it's very, very important, because once you are, especially if you go to academics or anywhere, they become your support structure. So rather than, so I here is the thing. Let's say if I have if I have a guy who is pretty good and has a good I would say he is well known, well respected. He has a good base. He has a good alumni, and is well respected. And he's in University of Maryland versus a professor in let's say Columbia University, and he's assistant professor. Let's say I will go to Maryland.
Okay.
You understand my point?
So like, so my question is like, how do you find out? Like, internet is one source, right? But how do you find out such professors other than like what are the sources? How to judge kind of professors?
So you know better than me, right? That is your area of research. I mean, you should have,
Yeah,
that's your homework. You know who are the professors who work in thermal management of lithium ion battery, right?
yeah. For technical point of view, yeah, I know some professors,
Yeah,
but
but
there are other aspects as well, like how is their culture, lab culture, how is the style of working. Means
okay,
that
okay.
kind of thing you don't know unless and until you meet people or
Right,
you know
right,
them.
right. I would say you can always, so here what I would say, you can get some good idea. So there are professors who are who always think about themselves. There are a lot of them here, and they are all and everywhere, put it this way, and they are all professors who really care about their students. I think that's what you're talking about. So I would say in that case, you can always go to their group. You can always look for. So one important thing, how good this professor in publication, how well he's publishing, because that is very important. And most of the time you will feel PhD that in professor they will try to, you feel like some sort of a stress or something, but will always be the case no matter what, no matter where you go. But I think what I'm trying to tell you is there are professors who just think about themselves, and you will see that the reflection will be in their publication. So for example, there are professors I know who write to put their name as a first author.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so this is one indication. So what I'm saying is you have to be smart enough to look for those indicators. You can always email their past student. That's always a case. You can always ask them. So in the internet days, it's not a rocket science to find those things. And a good professor will have a reputation with their old students, and as I said, you can always email those students, and they will give you a right opinion, especially when they are done with their PhD, and then they can speak freely with you. And just sometimes also don't take their words, because but do your homework properly.
Okay.
Choosing a right professor is the key, no doubt. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Another question about, you said, consider should I consider current social political conditions in Europe, especially UK, Germany? What impact do they have? So my answer to you would be is don't read too much news.
Okay.
Okay, because it doesn't impact you. See, you have to understand, science is a field which is very well connected, and it's very I would say, politically immune.
Okay.
And you are not going there to find, or to do a job, or to do, you are not going there and become an illegal immigrant. Let me put it this way. You are going there to study, to work, so you will be politically immune because you are a part of a system, a big system of a university. And being an Indian, I can tell you for sure, and you will have a very good brand of IIT Bombay. You will be fine. So don't consider that in at all. Be focused
Okay.
on be focused on doing the right thing, doing good research. Make sure that should be your worry, not about, oh, what's going on. I mean, you're not going to Syria, right? You are going to countries which are pretty
Yeah.
safe. So don't consider that aspect, or what's going to happen. That should not be your consideration right now, because you have long way to go, and your work will speak by itself. I mean, I can tell you this because in 2004 I came here to do my masters. I'm hearing this thing from 2004, and here I am today
Okay.
after 15 to almost 16 years. I have a green card. I'm become a citizenship. I worked at every good places I can. I work with good universities. I work with good professors. So it doesn't matter. That's aside. This is all, and you will hear this. Oh, people are going to say, oh, what is going to happen to my visa? What is going to happen to this? Let me tell you this thing. If you have done good work, if you are relevant, this, I can speak about US. This country is for you. People can say, oh,
Okay.
right now the situation in US is, the current president is doing this and that. This is all garbage, all bullshit. So as I
Okay.
said, don't read news too much. Read your books. That those things won't impact you at all. Okay. What should be done now in order to get more scholarship for PhD? What these people look for? Okay. So as I said to you earlier, also, PhD in a university in US is well funded. PhD students are funded. You will not get a PhD without a funding. You will not. And every university has its